What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family, bringing you guys another update on the Dallas Cowboys, of course. Now, we are watching the Detroit and Giants game in the background. Monday Night Football, guys, of course. But other than that, guys, we are going to bring you every single update on the Cowboys so far. Definitely a little bit slower news day, obviously, post-Denver depression. Not much more we can say on that. I'll pass it off to you, baby.
And yeah, definitely, guys. Listen, we're gonna discuss the whole thing with the Denver game and the way they really manhandle us, guys. It starts with the Denver Broncos, ends with the Denver Broncos when it comes to the way they played. There are a couple other factors I do want to discuss, and we'll definitely go into that, delve into that a little later in this stream. But I want you. I just saw Eli getting sacked here, which is good, guys. It's 14-7 Detroit Lions over the Giants right now with 7. In our stream right now, which is, we don't have the cable for this, but it's about 7 minutes in the second quarter. But anyways, guys, we'll talk about the Broncos in the game tomorrow from yesterday in a moment. But first, let's start off with this Zeke ruling and explain it to you a little more in depth. So, legal expert are here, my fiance.
Oh, all right. Real quick, I just want to say hi, Tobias, a lead, Fishing with Corey, Zero God. Tobias, yeah, I had my job interview today. I hope you get the job. Good luck. Woohoo.
Yeah, make sure you hit like.
So, yeah, guys, and make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. But seriously, guys, thanks for joining us, and let's hop to it. So, we did post earlier breaking news that Judge Mazant did deny the NFL their appeal. And now that appeal does move on to the Fifth Circuit of Courts. I mean, pretty much it was already a foregone conclusion that Mazant wasn't going to approve an appeal on his own ruling. But the major news to come out of that ruling is that the appeal, there's basically two different kinds of processes that an appeal can be seen on. And again, I'm not a legal expert. I don't remember the exact terms, or one of them was like a bono, no bono, or bono novo, something, I guess. And the other one basically meant that the judge was asking for the original decision to hold more weight. And Judge Mazant made it clear in the language that he used. He asked the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals to put more weight into his judgment than the appeal. And usually when these things happen this way and a judge, you know, and these appeals are in process, and the NFL really is hanging their entire Zeke case on this appeal. If they lose this appeal, guys, it is most likely that Zeke will win. You know, Judge Mazant, you know, obviously nothing is certain, but it is more likely. Yes, win the stay, and that, you know, he won't face that suspension, guys. So, you know, usually when this kind of pressure is applied, it really comes down to, you know, how the court rules. But whichever side kind of has the bigger say tends to be the winner. And right now, Judge Mazant seems to be, I don't want to say the winner, but the facts are on his side because he has a sound reason for his ruling. Yeah, for his ruling. So, you know, obviously let's just let the courts play it out, guys. The NFL is asking for them to rule sometime between September 19th and 26th. Of course, the court can choose to rule whenever they want. They do not have to listen to the NFL. So I do think it's a little bit kind of snotty, arrogant for the NFL to say, hey, courts, do this because we're telling you to. You know, the courts do things in their own time. We all know that, unfortunately. So
yeah, I mean, I mean, my 2 cents on this, guys, is that this is the first step of something that we knew was going to happen with Judge Mazant, and we knew that he was going to rule this way. It was just a matter of crafting the language properly. So when this next court, which is the Fifth District Court, is that what you said, of Appeals, and that's in New Orleans, and that's going to be, you know, coming up soon. Now, the NFL is pressuring it by tomorrow, guys, to try to hope that they somehow overrule this, which it probably won't. It's not going to overturn anything. It's going to, and this is going to stay for, you know, for Zeke's suspension. But again, it's just another step towards that, which we expected. And then when they rule, if they rule tomorrow, I mean, if they rule against Zeke, or basically pro NFL, and say, okay, we're going to take away this temporary injunction, that means that Zeke would not be able to play against the Cardinals if it's done tomorrow before like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Eastern time.
But Jerry Jones did already say he does expect Zeke to play week 3, but he can't comment on anything further than that, guys. So we don't expect Zeke to miss this upcoming game, but we can 100% say for sure that he will be playing the rest of the games. You know, it is favoring him, though, as we can tell.
Yeah, I mean, guys, again, remember that once this ruling comes in, we're saying if at worst case scenario they rule against Zeke, and you know, and NFL, and they rule for the NFL, and they take this away, the stay, and then he can be suspended. He will be suspended. What would happen? I mean, that's the worst case scenario. The other scenario, which is the most probable one, is that they're gonna still have enough information here to back up Judge Mazant's ruling, and they're not going to overturn his federal decision. He's a federal judge, so it takes a lot to overturn something like that. It's not going to happen. The appeal's not going to work. It's really baseless in a way from the NFL. It's just kind of the next step they have to take. And that's it, guys. And then we're gonna, expect Zeke to be here the whole season, but it's not 100% secured yet. But we're just like 98% secured now. Like all these steps that are getting us closer to that finality of this, at least for probably this season, most probably this season. I don't want to say 100% because you never know. They wrap it up quick, they bring it back during the playoffs if we even get there. So end of the season it could hurt us. So, but right now, if this thing does go the way it's supposed to go, Zeke's here for the whole season, guys.
Exactly. So, I mean, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it on Zeke, other than his extremely disappointing 8 yards, guys. I mean, that...
I wouldn't blame Zeke on that, though, all of it.
No, and again, we'll touch on that in a little bit more, but, I mean, that was just bad. So, guys, give me just a second here, guys. I'll go ahead and pass this off to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a couple comments here, guys. Some of the before we go to the Denver thing, we're gonna some news real quick. First off, the whole thing with Jerry Jones, there was a thing that was being said that Jerry Jones was leading a spearheading a anti-Roger Goodell contract extension, which I was actually happy to hear. But according to Jerry Jones himself and the NFL as well, these are both denials. This never happened. So that story originally, whatever it was false, and Jerry Jones is fighting that. Here we go.
No, I just want to take a moment to say hi to everybody in the chat. Patrick, thanks for joining us. Let me see. Boomer Sooner, New York Giants for life, Dallas Cowboys football news. How about them Cowboys? Seriously, every single one of you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for joining us here. Make sure to hit like on the stream. I know most of you guys are already subscribed. So,
if you're not, subscribe.
Yeah. So, and again, as far as this Giants game, unfortunately, we missed one of the touchdowns, but I mean, so far it's pretty close. It's always fun to see Eli getting sacked. So, and I'm rooting for Detroit all the way here. So, speaking of, there goes Stafford with a ooh.
Complete.
Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, looks like a late hit on the Giants. They're roughing the passer.
Injury.
Well, Stafford's all right, but he got hit pretty hard. Yeah. But back to Cowboy news, guys. I'm gonna touch on some of the injuries, but before we go to that, let's just talk about some of the positive. Let's get the positive things out of the way.
Well, actually, Tobias just went full negative talking about our cornerback situation and all.
We're getting to that. Don't worry. Yeah. We're gonna get to that. Listen, first off, Dak's 25 touchdown pass to Dez Bryant yesterday was the 25th touchdown pass of his career. Dak reached 25 touchdown passes with the fewest interceptions at that point, which was 4. Now it's 6. But he had so he broke that record. Not just a little side record there to him to add to all his impressive accolades for his NFL career so far, a very short NFL career. Jason Witten, speaking of the opposite, a very long NFL career. He now has 1,106 career receptions, guys. He just moved past Chris Carter. I don't really like him. And Marvin Harrison for 4th on the NFL's all-time receptions list, guys. A tight end. That's freaking fantastic. Yeah. And Witten's also only the second tight end, guys. The second tight end, besides Tony Gonzalez, who I think is number 1, to reach 12,000 career receiving yards, guys. That's crazy to think about as a tight end doing that.
No way.
That shows consistency.
No.
Ooh.
I was gonna say
that shows
no way.
That shows consistency, and that he's the GOAT. What can you say? He's the first Cowboy and 26th player in history to get over 12,000 career receiving yards, guys. That's pretty impressive on the good news side of things. And then, of course, if you want to talk about financials, the Forbes rates the Cowboys as the NFL's most valued franchise, guys. With no surprise there with the stadium at Jerry World. They're at $4.8 billion. They're followed by the Patriots, Giants, Redskins, and Niners, and I think they're like at least $1 billion behind the Cowboys.
That's
at the best.
Very impressive, guys. But
we want wins. We don't care about the money. That's Jerry Jones. I know. We know he's happy. We know he's happy with everything that always goes on when it comes to news making or, just anything that makes news, guys. He's there for it. He didn't care. Now, guys, I just want to touch on Zeke for a second about his lack. There's a big thing made about his lack of effort. And it does bother a lot of fans. It bothers me. It bothers you.
I didn't really realize it as the game happened. I heard about it afterwards, and, we kind of saw it. And it's just, again, it's disappointing to see, one of your best guys and some of the guys who, again, at the end of the day, and especially the first one. The second one, I can understand it a little more because it was right at the end of the game. We're all just kind of like, crap, whatever, fine. But the first one, we still definitely had a chance, and you just kind of stood there and did nothing. And just, no, you're supposed to be one of the leaders of the team, whether you like it or not. You know, your age, all this other stuff, it doesn't matter. You got to do what you got to do. So. Well,
and then, so guys, so we're trying to get our stream working, guys, because we this is gonna be next week. This is a good warm up for the next game, guys, Arizona. But we'll talk about that a little later in the week, especially, guys. That Arizona Cardinal game is going to be an important turn for our team. We need to definitely get things back on track. Before we talk about the injuries, I do want to continue with the Zeke thing, guys. That LaDainian Tomlinson, you know, one of the best running backs in history, he said yesterday, he said that, you know, basically he called out Zeke. He said he absolutely quit on the Cowboys during their loss to the Broncos. And I can see how he can say that, how you would see that. And I'm not saying that he's completely wrong. I can understand the frustration of having 8 yards on nine carries. And the fact that, again, guys, and I'm not condoning his behavior. I'm against it. Jason Garrett.
Look, we all understand it.
Yeah, Jason Garrett is going to. What he said. He addressed it to the media, but he actually said to the media he's going to address it personally with Zeke. So it's something that he's going to definitely talk to him about. You guarantee you're not going to see that happen from Zeke again, guys. That's just the worst game of his career since Pee Wee, since flag football, since whenever he played football, guys. He said when he was asked, "Have you ever gotten less than 10 yards rushing in your life?" He said, "Never." It could have been a pickup game with one play. He probably had more yards.
Exactly. So when you put into perspective of he's facing, you know, the biggest, you know, professional and personal loss in that sense that he's ever faced, I can understand why he had those kinds of, you know, for a guy like Zeke, any of these guys out there playing, to have their whole hearts into it, you get it. You know, you get it, it's still not okay.
He's got to be mature, though. And again, we know he's not, and that's the thing. Dez is still snapped a little bit, and he's losing a little of his maturity he had last season and the beginning of this season. He needs to regain himself. We'll discuss him too, but just to finish up, a couple other things that I wanted to definitely make a mention of. As far as our defense, Demontre Moore, guys, he's coming back. He's eligible now to be back. We haven't officially put him back, but expect him to be officially on the roster by Wednesday. I think that's the next practice day because we play Monday. We get the Cowboys are getting 2 days of rest. They get Monday off, and I'm pretty sure they're getting Tuesday off. They might be there and going through some film study or some other stuff with the coaches, but they're not going to be on the field. They're probably still just resting up. Yeah. It was a brutal game, guys. And again, we're going to go into details about that in a second. But Demontre Moore, he's going to help our defensive pass rush, guys. And again, with DeMarcus Lawrence, who did fantastic, guys. He's done 2 great games, and he's leading the entire NFL in sacks, guys. That's fantastic, impressive. Who would have ever predicted that any week 1, 2, 3, or 10, that we would have anybody leading the NFL in sacks, guys? But again, we'll see if it lasts the whole season, and you know we're gonna get one piece of our puzzle back on that line, which is Demontre Moore. It's gonna be big to have him back. I expect to see him playing a lot of spot play and stuff, and rotating in, because Taco Charlton didn't do much. Benson Mayowa had a couple pressures, but didn't do much this game. He almost had a sack last one. And so we have to make sure that you know we get these guys back. When we get David Irving in 2 weeks from now, that'll be also another big plus for our defense. And then we should be getting Hitchens back. It also helps on the runs and helps the entire defense, guys. But we'll need him back for sure. Now, I guess we all are concerned about Dak Prescott, guys. When you saw that tackle yesterday, that ankle injury, we all our hearts stopped. We couldn't imagine Kellen Moore having to be in there doing his thing, because we know his thing is usually ugly. Bad. Yeah. So guys, but again, the update on him, guys, is a big thing here. He was said to be doing fine last night, and he said that he's walking around, minor issues. Pretty much he's okay to go, guys. Yeah, so that's great news on him today. Bumps, bumps and bruises, you know, sprain, maybe a very light sprain for all we know. We didn't hear anything about MRIs or anything like that done on Dak. But, you know, he's walking. There's no concern in Cowboys camp. We'll see Wednesday when hopefully he's massaged and treated properly and worked back into it. He's going to be feeling, you know, close to as brand new as possible, getting ready for this tough Cardinals defense on Monday night, guys. A week from today. Now, speaking of MRIs, Cheeto Awuzie, guys, this is major. This is probably the worst thing of the day, as far as aside from the game and the way we lost it. But the worst news is that it's the same hamstring that he had during the preseason, guys. He wants to be back. He wants to be ready for week 3. Probably not going to do it, guys. They did an MRI, and according to Stephen Jones, Nothing further here is what his quote back. Hopefully he'll practice this week. Hopefully he'll practice. Practice means that he's probably not playing this weekend, this Monday. I'm sorry, a week from now.
And honestly, even if he does, guys, he's still going to be, held back by the hamstring. He's still not going to have as much practice. Yeah. So again, we're talking about throwing in a rookie guy who hasn't had as much practice, who did miss some training camp, a good chunk of training camp from not practicing. Ben Wickery,
who doesn't really know the system yet, guys. And
yeah, we haven't seen him. So I really can't say, we've seen other stuff from him.
Right. He's a veteran. We hope for the best. But yeah, that's the thing. So guys, Chidobe Awuzie with his hamstring. This is official word from camp or whatever. And Nolan Carroll, guys, if you remember yesterday, he got knocked out twice. Aside from playing horribly in the first quarter, he got knocked out, and then he came back after that lightning delay. Came back in, and 10 plays later got knocked out again with Awuzie. They both came back in. They both got knocked out. And that means that they're both listed. Nolan Carroll is currently in the concussion protocol, and we need him back out there because it doesn't look like Awuzie might not play this weekend. He might be. Some people have said, like on the Cowboys talking heads and stuff, they said IR him for 8 weeks. That's crazy. I don't know if we can afford to do that, guys. But if it's a bad hamstring thing that lingers, and these are the problems with the hamstrings, guys. And our conditioning coaches, I don't know what the hell's wrong with them, but it's too bad that we're losing all these guys. And again, maybe it's just dumb luck, but it happens every season. I just can't believe it. It just happens every season, just mainly to us when it comes to specific things like hamstrings and these little sprains and things that just pop up. Not even like it's just kind of from running. I wonder if it's a conditioning issue. I don't know. I'm still going to complain about that.
It seems like we have a lot of guys who end up getting these kind of constant minor persistent injuries like this. We don't want this hamstring to turn into the story of Chidobe Awuzie turning into next. Yeah, that's it. Or, another Chaz Green. I guess that's the best I can put it. We don't need another Chaz Green, a guy who, is good when he's out there, or has potential or can play great and just is constantly injured. So far, Chaz Green has been holding up. So, hopefully he continues to hold up. Yeah, I want to go through a few of your comments here, guys.
Sure. I was going to finish up. There's one last thing before you go. We'll go with the comments here in a second. I just want to say one last thing about the cornerbacks in the situation. Orlando Scandrick should be coming back. He comes back. We'll see what happens with Nolan Carroll. Anthony Brown was out there. Again, considering everything, he was doing a fantastic job. I thought Byron Jones, even though he missed a couple tackles, did a fantastic job for what he had. I shouldn't say fantastic. He did an okay job. Heath missed a bunch of tackles. Sean Lee missed a bunch of tackles. Jalen Smith was a step behind. We'll go into that in a minute after the questions. But I just want to say that, the way everything kind of panned out with our corners, we're going to need – Cheeto is going to be somebody who might not be 100% for a while. And if that happens, that means that Jordan Lewis is going to have to step up. There's no other choice. We're going to have like I said, if Nolan Carroll gets back, we have, Orlando Scandrick back, hopefully from his hand surgery. And then we have Anthony Brown. The next guy up is Jordan Lewis, guys. So we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
Okay, baby. We're going to do some questions now, guys. Thank you all, guys, for jumping on here. Sorry, we just wanted to spit out all the information. And then after this little question and answer break here, we're going to go and delve into the game yesterday and leave it in the past, guys. But we've got to examine a couple of things. And I want to mention a couple of things that I believe are main things of good and bad from yesterday's game to take away, even good things, guys, from the game yesterday for the Cowboys.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go back and just kind of touch on first, Ice H2O, thanks for joining us. He said Denver's defense on the road is not the same as Mile High. That's definitely something we're going to touch on later. I just want to definitely shout that out because we agree.
Good point.
We'll talk about that soon.
We already have that, yep.
Yeah, so let's see. Zeke's worst game was in college against Michigan State when Urban Meyer, Tim Becker didn't give Zeke enough touches. Boomer sooner. I think that also kind of contributed. I know they really shut down the run, but I also don't think that we gave Zeke enough of a chance.
I agree.
I think that, if they put a little more faith in Zeke eventually getting through or really wore down Denver a little more, put a little more pressure with that.
Something we're going to touch on, though, on that is that there's a reason that happened. There's a reason why Zeke couldn't do anything, and that comes through the offensive line, guys, and we're going to talk about that.
Exactly. So, but it's still disappointing to see Zeke not get the ball at least one or two more times.
You guys really can't blame Zeke, though, for the poor performance. That was on the offensive line and on the play calling. And then later on, it became the fact that we couldn't really run anymore. We had to throw because we had to score points. So
exactly. Let's go ahead. Stronger King, thanks for joining us. Junior Mute, thanks for joining us as well. Let me see. Who do the Cowboys cut? Since we already touched base on DeMontre Moore coming back. Again, with some of the talk about maybe moving Cheeto to IR, would that be the extra space we need? But, can we afford to put him on IR for 8 weeks? Or,
how about,
even for, again, such a minor injury so far from what
how about a defensive lineman guy? I mean, he's going to come in on the defensive end. So what are we looking at, Tapper? I mean, you can't really.
He's been doing all right, though.
Tapper, I like Tapper. I mean, I know he didn't have much as far as stats are concerned. He recovered the fumble. But, I mean, I'm sorry, he didn't recover the fumble. He had a sack against the Giants. I was thinking of Malik Collins.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't think we can do that. But, again, is he a Cedric Thornton type of guy? I mean, I don't think we can give up on him so fast yet. So, who would you cut? I mean, a running back? McFadden? We didn't seem to even use him yet. I mean, I don't think we should, but that's an option there. And definitely not Rod Smith. I mean, he played yesterday. He's played more than McFadden. I'm trying to think of receivers. We really, obviously not. Noah Brown, we kept him. We're keeping him for a reason. A lineman? I mean, Bell? Crickets? I don't know. Linebacker? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jaron Elliott, the new guy we got? Brian Price?
I honestly, at this point, guys.
Ben Wickery?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to wait a little bit more and see how some
Very
practices
tough, yeah.
play out.
But no, they're not. They're going to have to do it by Wednesday. Wednesday starts, and then you have to have him in practice, or he's not going to play.
So then
we need to bunch him more by Wednesday, guys. So we got one more day to brainstorm this and come up with. Give me an answer, guys. I'm curious. It's just a tough call.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, for me, I think how about them Cowboys say cut Kellen Moore, maybe someone else, but
I would love that, but they're not going to. do
Yeah, they're not going to do that. Out of everyone there, I mean, I feel like we just signed Noah Brown. I don't see us letting him go, but I can't. I mean, I have a feeling they would pick Tapper just because he kind of falls on the short end of the stick there. Not so much that he's playing that bad or he's not doing good. It's just that someone better needs to fill a spot that's more important.
I'd rather almost get rid of Stephen Price, but you can't. I mean, whatever his Price. You really can't though. You can't because you need him. You have nobody else behind him really.
Yeah.
Until Irvin comes back and if you use Crawford in that spot or Taco in that spot.
I would say, what about
depends.
Taco? What if they?
No, you can't cut him yet. No, he's still too young, raw talent. You can't give up on him that fast.
You never know. I know a few of you guys. Some of us have been, much happier with Taco. I know some of you guys have still been a little disappointed in him. So let's keep moving on with a few of these comments.
Rookie time, guys.
So let's see.
And guys, if you are on here, hit the like, subscribe if you're new, guys. We appreciate all you guys. We discuss this every day, guys, Cowboys and NFL stuff, guys. And we're watching the game right now, 14-7, Detroit Lions with about under 2 minutes right now before halftime.
Yeah, so, and then Elite Aubrey said Sean Lee needs to keep his head up on launching his body, violently missing tackles. He's hurting his own teammates. I saw a lot of that, not just from Sean Lee. Actually, Nolan Carroll was one of my least favorite players in this game. Just because every single time I saw him out there, he just wasn't doing his job. And he was doing just that. He was running into his own players. And actually, some of our Cowboys were, almost there. And they got stopped by Nolan Carroll once or twice, which was really frustrating to see. So let me see. We need to trade Carroll. Stop forcing the ball to Dez. Stop overthrowing Beasley, Tobias. I said that in the Giants game. I said it in the Denver game. And I'm going to keep saying it for some reason. And you guys know we seem to be running the same offense with no changes. We're not doing anything different, any adjustments. They're reading us perfectly. And on top of that, we keep forcing the ball to Dez. All respect to Dez, but sorry, we gave you the ball how many times? How many attempts? At least 8 to 10. He got the ball his way a lot. And out of that, one he dropped when it hit his hands perfectly right there would have been just, I don't even want to talk about it. And the other one, guys, was, of course, that horrible right through his hands interception thing that happened. I mean, how frustrating is it when your supposedly most elite wide receiver is making dumb mistakes like this? I'm going to say it. Sorry, guys, but you don't see Odell making those mistakes. You don't see other elite receivers, Antonio Brown he's not making those mistakes. So, I'm sorry, Dez, but you got to put your money where your mouth is and perform to that level. No one performed to that level, though. But just really disappointed to see the Cowboys do that.
Yeah. No, and again, guys, now let's start delving into this thing here. Okay.
Yeah, so Barbara Long is mentioning the altitude thing.
Yeah, and guys, that's what I mean. I want to mention that. I'm not, again, I have to preface this by saying, by the way, Detroit just got a field goal with 30 seconds left. It bounced on the bar and went in. 17-7, Detroit. And that's my kicker in one of my money leagues in fantasy, so yay. That was like 5 points because it was like 50 yards or something. So it hit the bar, across the bar and went over. So it's 17-7. It's about to be halftime, and Detroit's winning over the New York Giants in New York. Yeah. So, guys, the deal with Denver. First off, all respect has to be given to the Denver defense, guys, and the Denver coaches and the Denver offense. They game plan for us fantastic. They really killed us. They shoved us into the ground and stomped our feet to the dirt, guys. I mean, they really embarrassed us. From the beginning, you saw, Dak getting thrown into the ground. He, dirty, muddied shirt already from the beginning.
Rough start to the game. Yeah. Rough middle, rough end.
Yeah, I mean, and again, guys, there was a couple, moments that we had, but for the most part, you guys saw, we saw, everybody saw it. It was ugly. Unfortunately, we of course got blown out in this game. It could have been a closer game, but we have to, everyone's gonna. Some people talking about Dak's game, okay? And again, I agree. Dak was very conservative, which I think was a good game plan. But the fact that we have to rely on the passing so much, it became an issue, okay? And the fact that we always see this from Lenaham, and they like to it's like a little kid playing Madden. Yeah. Hey guys, let's go try to throw to Dez and get him a touchdown this time. Hey guys, let's not run
the ball on 3rd and 1.
Yeah, I mean let's just play. Let's just do it like willy nilly, and we're gonna be able to beat this team. Nobody can stop us. Like that was a little bit. Kind of showing, and the fact that the Broncos came in there serious, saying we're going to kick this team in the mouth, and they did. Yeah, I mean, and they just, and guys, so that's first and foremost. The Denver's, all the credit to the Denver Broncos, the players, the coaching staff, the whole 9 yards, the fans, the whole thing. Their stadium, the altitude, their location. Because I mean, definitely that plays a part into this, guys. Chidobe Awuzie is from Colorado college. He played there 4 years. He says it takes a while to really get used to that altitude, and I don't know. I think only 3 Cowboy players have played in Denver, and even that, it's only been like very rare. So, guys, I mean, even if you played it once, you still, you might remember it, but you're not going to be able to be adjusted to it yet. And I think that really hindered the Cowboys. If you guys noticed, I mean, during the game, we noticed that Sean Lee was always a step behind to close the hole, the gap with the run. Or on the outside, he was just always like grabbing the missing because he was too far off of the running back. I know C.J. Anderson was having a great game, and first running back since Alfred Morris when he was with the Redskins to get over 100 yards on our run defense. I mean, they beat us on both sides of the ball. A lot of people have been saying this, but everything we wanted to do, they did to us, which is what we needed to do to them to win the game. Exactly. And they did everything to us, and it still was decently, I don't say close, but if it wasn't for the DeMarcus Lawrence penalty, guys, that's a 4-point swing right there.
It would have been 17-10.
Well, take the 4-point swing out, you know what I'm saying, and you take that last touchdown, which obviously was a desperation, the last play of the game, whatever. But if it's 35-10, okay, and you take 4 points away from the DeMarcus Lawrence thing, they make the field goal, and that penalty doesn't go. Now it's a 14-point game, I think. And then you take away Dez's missed catch, which basically immediately led to a touchdown to make it 35-10 at the time. That interception. Let's say even if he doesn't, let's say the ball just hits the ground. Okay, it's not. They don't have the ball. We punt the ball, and then they try to drive on us. So that takes away that touchdown from them, guys. Now it's a 7-point game in a way. And then if you add in that huge drop by Jason Witten, it would have definitely gave us a little breather, a little chance there, breath of hope, a fresh. We could get a chance to win if he makes that catch. He makes it 9,000 out of 9,001 times, and this is the one time he drops that easy touchdown. You put that on there, it's a tie game. I mean, those 3 plays tie the game, 24-24. And of course, guys, I know it's a whole different story as it plays out differently as soon as one play changes. But I'm just trying to make a point. Don't be a lot of Cowboy fans are already like throwing in the towel. I mean, so they're very upset. I mean, how about them Cowboys? Chill out. We're good. The main thing, guys, is the offensive line is where the breakdown really occurred. We wanted to establish the run. I think the play calling, as usual, was disappointing, but because they try to throw the ball too often, I think. But with the altitude, guys, I've never seen 5 guys play so bad together that are so good.
And not just that, but our offensive line, I've never seen them, like you said, collectively all look bad at the same time together.
Now, Dale Collins, I mean, some people saying he wasn't as bad as he looked out there. Von Miller just ate him up, guys. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. His 20 negative plays and out of 37, I don't care. He had enough. Von Miller won. Von Miller not won. Von Miller like took him and did something to him. Yeah, I mean, he just did something nasty to him. He just took him away and abused him. I mean, and again, I know people are going to say, no, he didn't do that. No, trust me, guys, he handled Khalil Mack. He handled JPP. He did not handle Von Miller. Von Miller had his way with him, guys. And again, and Von Miller wreaked havoc. He made Dak either, if he didn't sack him, he he tackled him, hit him after the play. Whether one play was he went for his knee by accident, and it wasn't his fault. That's just the rule. But he just hit him. He knocked him to the ground. The other Denver lineman, he was forced into the pocket. He didn't get a chance to scoot through there and run too many times. When he did, you saw what happened to his ankle. And again, guys, so he was like constantly in this closed pocket that was closing on him. And you can see the Cowboy lineman. And I'm not talking about just La'el Collins. I'm talking about the whole Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith. And Chaz Green, they all, even though they had a decent game for what was going on there compared to La'el Collins, they all had a bad game collectively together. And you could just see them getting tired. Never, guys, and I've been watching the Cowboys since forever, and I've been watching this team of linemen since forever. I've never seen a collapse this big. And I'm not saying it has nothing to do with the Denver Broncos, pass rushers, the defensive linemen. They're great. Obviously, Von Miller's the best in the league, and I give him full respect on that. But for us to have the best offensive line in the league and still collapse altogether, it's got to be another function in there, another reason in there that's happening. And I don't think it's anything to be. A lot of people are like freaking out. Oh, our line's not that good. Our line stinks. No, our line is awesome, guys. We handled the Giants last week. I know we didn't dominate them, and I know Dak was off as well. Concerning things, yes, but guys, that's one of the best defenses in the league. This week, this was the best defense probably we're going to see all year, other than maybe Seattle, and that's in Dallas. So it's going to be, if this game was in Dallas, it is a different game. The altitude changes things, and the crowd noise changes things. But the Denver Broncos whooped our butts, guys, and they deserve this victory, obviously. Absolutely. And the offensive line was tired for sure, guys.
Yeah. So. Now, just want to take a second to shout out a few of you new guys joining us here. Joseph Sirianni, thanks for checking in. Lord Finesse, yeah, how about them boys? Yeah, you know what? We're Cowboys fans through and through, guys. Lowest of lows, highest of highs. We're not going anywhere. TCDC, yes, this game shows who's loyal fan through thick and thin and who is a fake fair weather fan. Exactly. So, fair weather fans, find another team. Go join Carolina or something. Again, I don't know.
And I do agree, guys. And how about them Cowboys as an example? I mean, I understand the sentiment. And immediately you're like, oh, we suck. This is horrible. This is the worst.
And it is depressing. We're not saying it's not depressing.
I mean, it's not a good feeling. And obviously there could be issues coming from this game that could continue throughout the season, which could be definitely concerning. But people say the blueprint to beating us, guys. Nobody really has this kind of personnel, this kind of team, the best pass rusher in the league, and probably the best 3 cornerbacks in the league as a trio, as a core. The best. And you have that. No other team has that. I mean, the Giants are close to that, and we beat them 19-3. Seahawks are close to that, and we'll see what happens when they come to Dallas. But again, guys, I'm not saying other teams
play them in Dallas as well.
I mean, also Kansas City, another great defense. They come to Dallas. So let's see. I think there's going to be a little more evening out when it comes to that stuff. I think our offense will play better. And again, I'm not saying I don't even a big fan of us playing at home. But again, when you come to a team that's up and out, if we play Denver again in the Super Bowl in Minnesota in the Dome, I guarantee you it's a completely different game, guys. I guarantee our offensive line will be much improved. And again, guys, and this is the first big butt whipping that we've seen in the Dak era. We've seen him take. This is a big butt whipping. But guys, at the same time, you got to remember. It was going to happen, and the whipping wasn't because of his necessarily horribleness or his bad decisions. I mean, it was his 2 interceptions were I guess it was his fault, but it was more. The last one was a desperation one, guys. I don't even count that one. The other one went right through Dez's hands.
Yeah, the Dez one was definitely not his fault. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good pass by Dak.
Yeah.
One of his better moments of the game. That was all Dez, but the other one, kind of all Dak.
Yeah, but again, it was 30 seconds in the game, and you're just trying to get the ball in there. He had pressure on him again, getting hit 18,000 times from all the way around.
And all that, but at the end of the day, it's still on him. But
it's on the whole team, including the damn coaches, guys, and they got to step up to take some of that heat as well. I mean, I believe that the coaching wasn't the greatest when it came to Scott Linehan, when it comes to Jason Garrett, and it comes to their conditioning, when it comes to the offensive coordinator, the way that their attitude about things are. I've never liked it. When it doesn't go right, I will definitely criticize it, guys, because I don't see it working. Even when it works, it's not really working all the time. The players kind of push it through more than the coaches do. And again, I'm not saying they don't ever contribute to good things. They do, but that seems to be a major downfall issue for the Cowboys, just the way the coaches coach on offense especially. And again, guys, that I would worry more about than our offensive line, even though that is the reason why we got blown out in this game. That's why we got destroyed in this game, guys. That's why we got dominated. Because offensive line, we lost in the trenches on offense, and they won in the trenches on offense. They beat our defense in the front, guys, and that includes Stephen Paya, my boy. That includes, Malik Collins. It includes even DeMarcus Lawrence, who had a great game, 2 more sacks, but it was early. And again, he didn't really see much of him as the game continued. Again, guys, I'm not trying to blame it on the altitude because it's not that, but that plays a role. And that's a
contributing factor.
For sure, a contributing factor. And I don't blame the Broncos for that. I blame the Cowboys conditioning team, the coaching squad, to not getting them up there a little sooner, a little more ready. I mean, dish out some bucks, rent out one of these football fields out there, bring some of your equipment. Jerry Jones has the money. And, damn, give them 3 days out there, guys. I'm sure it would have been a little bit different. I don't know. Maybe it's been done before. It doesn't work. And I'm just dreaming about it. But I see it definitely being a major contributing issue. Cause I've never seen an offensive line get worse, and it got worse fast, guys. I've never seen them go back this way, like revert from average from the beginning to like below average, unable to barely hold their blocks anymore, guys. We never seen that from this team.
But
it's a Denver Broncos rush, the coverage that didn't let Dak throw the ball, and the altitude, guys. So don't get down to the line yet, guys. They're going to come back with strong, ready to prove things different next week.
A lot of the chat agrees with you. They're saying, that altitude definitely had something to do with it. Let me see here. Rodimuspum, this offense is not built to pass the ball 50 times a game. It's a balanced attack offense. And LM, Seaman was not even seeing the open receiver sometimes. Yeah, I made a comment yesterday during the game that our defense was making Seaman look like a Pro Bowler out there, which is embarrassing, guys. Because again, all credit to Denver for sure, but we all know that their offense isn't. It's just not the greatest. It's okay, and they played great yesterday, which is again abnormal, and it made us look worse.
Yeah, another big contributing factor though, as well, is the fact that our cornerbacks, guys. We were playing with 2 cornerbacks, one who never played a game.
Yeah, no.
Jordan Lewis was out there as a second cornerback next to Anthony Brown, who's been there for a year, 1 season and the second game. You know what I'm saying? And he hasn't even started last year, many games, half the season. So my point is we have basically our 3rd cornerback and our 5th cornerback, who that cornerback's never played this whole season, an NFL game in his career, in his life. So those are only 2 guys we had. We had Kevon Frazier and Xavier Woods coming in as cornerbacks, guys, in the dime packages. So that's scary. And after that, anybody gets hurt in that field, we have no one left. So that's something we have to address. I know some people, how about the Cowboys, says something about getting Revis, and I just think, again, guys, if we can afford it, go for it. I guess you can't lose on that, but I don't think they can.
Probably not.
But they're not going to do it, guys. Jerry Jones won't do that. Stephen Jones is not going to do that. They're staying away from the older guys and paying them the big veteran bucks, because that can bite you in the butt and they get injured, or they're not like they used to be. And obviously nobody's picked them up for a reason. So I would shy away from that as well. But, guys, we need to put somebody out there, because we can't have Jordan Lewis as our starting cornerback right now in this season. He needs some more games under his belt.
And honestly, guys, against a team like that, being his first NFL game, you're right, LM. He did do pretty good.
Very good, yes.
What do you expect? Yeah, what do you expect from a guy who, guys, remember, he only played, I think, the first handful of days at training camp. Yeah. Remember, because he had that court issue right beforehand, and it just. It's so insane to think that this is basically his real NFL debut. He had about a week of practice, and then he played. Yeah. And he played, under a very high-pressure, high-stress situation, and he was at least able to get an interception. So I do have to give him major props. Unfortunately, the NFL is not, a feel-good league. It is not it is a meritocracy. I think Tony Romo said that once. It is a meritocracy. You have to earn everything, and you have to earn it over and over again. So, guys, as much as I love Jordan Lewis, he needs to, put it to 100. He needs to prove himself, and he needs to play out this weekend. He needs to show what he's made of and really, put some pressure on the Cardinals. So, with all this said, guys, after kind of breaking down the entire game, why we think the team itself contributed to the loss, the coaching staff, the environment, and honestly just Denver playing a great game on both sides of the ball. What do you think we need to take away from this and carry it into this upcoming week with this Monday night game against the Cardinals? I mean, how do we turn this around?
No, I mean, I mean, you guys definitely
as
post.
far as this week,
Right.
specifically
Well,
what just happened here.
There's
with
2 days off, I think, and they're gonna just be resting and bumps and bruises and stuff, especially Dak. What I believe is, we need to the offensive line needs to get pissed off. They're gonna be on national TV here, guys, against the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think we've won there since I don't know how many years, honestly. And I'm gonna try to see if there's any way I can get my brother on here, who's a Cardinal. He was at both games, guys, so far for the Cardinals this year. At the game against the Colts yesterday, and the week 1 against Detroit. So he was at both games. He's a diehard Cardinal fan, and I would love. He knows the ins and outs of everything with the Cardinals, so it'd be interesting to talk with him. Unless he's a busy man, he's a doctor, so it's just really, if I can really get any time with him, it'd be great over the phone or through here somehow. We'll try to get something like that set up so we can maybe do that on Friday. But we're going to concentrate more on the Cardinals as the week goes on. First thing is we have to know what we did wrong, watch the video. I hope that they watched all the game film, and of course they will, and analyze it.
To break it down. And,
we still haven't watched it all yet, and still we're going to talk more about it in the next day or so. But honestly, after tomorrow, I guess you can say, and Wednesday we're going to have probably try to get the compilation video of the best of, worst of, and ugliest of the game from our reactions. That will be probably up Wednesday, but honestly, I'm not going to talk about it anymore, that much more after today, too much in depth anymore, because that's what we have to do, guys. We got to forget about this game. I think about the losses that we could have had, Giant game or Denver game. Obviously, we'd rather lose to Denver.
I'd rather lose to Denver any day of the week.
And
we did kind of jump that big hurdle by beating the Giants when they crushed us last year.
And guys, the thing is this, you got to remember, tie-breaking. Right now, I mean, you have to think about it. Even at this point, when it comes to the division, we lost to an AFC team on the road. We didn't lose at home, which would have been worse. Not really for tiebreak, but just for the ease of schedule. So the Eagles are the same thing. Okay, they beat a division team, okay, the Redskins, and then they lost at an AFC West team. Yeah, the Chiefs, which is another good defense. Another tough place to play, and the Eagles definitely played very well. Give them credit. Their team to watch. Their defense looks pretty damn good. And yes, Wentz looks good, guys, but the inconsistency at running back, that's your guys' problem, and just that's all I can say. You guys can talk differently, but Blount is not the full answer, and Sproul's not the full answer. Just letting you know, Philly fans.
So, Sirianni, I mean, your offense did pretty good, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it didn't they get a turnover? Eagles, right? Sorry, guys. There's a lot of football yesterday. My brain's a little blurry, but honestly, guys, I mean, your offense you guys have a solid offense. Like I said in earlier videos, I don't know if you want to go ahead and check it out, but the Eagles are going to be a team where they're going to get hotter as the season goes on. You got that, win against the Redskins. You lost, and again, it wasn't it wasn't like some devastating loss. It was a close game with the Chiefs, so you should definitely take that to heart for sure. You played a good, tough, rough game. But
I think I'd be a little more afraid of the Eagles on offense if they had a consistent running game, guys. And that's all I'm saying. Don't jump on me for that. But again, I'm going to stress it. Blount is, he's a very good running back for short distances, for goal line situations, for first down, third and goal, third and short, inches. Whatever, a couple yards, you want to put him in there. He's the guy you want in there, and he can once in a while break one. But Sproles is not a full-time back either, and he's more of a third down scat back, quick. He's dangerous too. But again, you got dangerous guys in certain situations. They don't have a full-time running back. They don't have a full-time guy who can really pound. You can pound the ball with. If you had that, I think you'd see a different Wentz, even a much better Wentz. And I think your team would take it to that next level where you can say, all right, now we're really going to truly challenge. Even though I think already are going to be able to challenge for the division, but you can really truly say, okay, now we really can be consistent and really truly challenge for the division, not just now but in the future. So I think you need that running game still, that solid, full, all-around type running back.
Absolutely, guys. So I just want to take a quick second to say, guys, thank you every single one of you guys for joining us out here tonight. We are going to be wrapping up the stream somewhat soon, but make sure to hit like if you haven't already on the stream. It really does help out our channel. And make sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already. As you can tell, we do post daily content on the Cowboys. We stream every single Cowboys game, our reaction to it, every single week, guys. You want Cowboy news, we got it right here. And you want just general NFL news, obviously. We got the major stuff right here too, guys. So make sure to come on back, and thanks for watching tonight too. So
I'm gonna just touch on a couple last things when it comes to the game, and then we're gonna be, guys. We gotta cut it. We gotta cut this game out of our heads because I'm talking for the fans. Just remember that this is just one game out of 15. We already won against the Giants. We have an upper hand. Out of all the games to lose, this is the one you kind of, if you're going to lose one, let this be one of those games. Yeah. The other game we could lose, again, depending on the situation. But, another less important game, I guess, equivalent to this would be the Raider game when we go at Oakland. Now, it's in December. We might have to win that game, so I'm not saying it's not important. But I'm saying as far as losing and tie-breaking when it comes to a first-ranked seeding, when it comes to the division, when it comes to making the wild cards, that's when these little things come into play. And so we're losing to the Denver Broncos, a tough defense, probably one of the best, if not the best, defensive team out there, in a loud, raucous stadium, mile high, tough altitude, definitely debilitating our defense and offense, guys. Sean Lee suffered from it. The offensive line suffered from it. Zeke didn't get a chance to suffer from it because he got the ball 9 times and he went 1 yard because the freaking defensive, the entire linebacking core and defense in front of the Broncos just blew up all our linemen, guys. And then as the game wore on, Von Miller had his way. I mean, he made him his jail cell buddy there. La'el Collins, unfortunately, looked pretty bad out there, getting beat almost every time. My questioning to that is I really wish, and that's my other criticism, again, back to the coaching decisions, is why not make adjustments for that? Keep that in mind. I know it doesn't work with the game plan. If you have Zeke and you keep him in on just a 3 or 4 man line and they're not blitzing anyone, then you're kind of hurting your game plan. Okay, so what I'm trying to say by that is that if Zeke stays in and blocks, then instead of going out into the flats, which would draw the linebacker away from the spot he's in to cover Zeke, now you keeping Zeke in, that linebacker drops back and blocks the path where Dak is planning to throw that ball to a cutting Beasley or a cutting Williams or a cutting Dez Bryant or any cutting receiver, Bryce Butler. And that's why we need to draw that linebacker out from that spot with having Zeke out there. But when a team like Pittsburgh last year blitzed us, we kept Zeke in a lot because the linebacker that's supposed to cover Zeke was now blitzing, and so now we can use Zeke to help block that player and give Dak that extra second or half second that he needed to find the open receivers. That was the problem yesterday, guys. We did not have that. Dak did not have that extra second or half second because there was no help for La'el Collins against Von Miller when he kept just basically disrupting the entire game. In the second half, he was a disruptor, guys. He really was the nail in the coffin for the Cowboys. And the fact that the coaching staff did not see that, and that goes from Scott Linehan, Garrett, and down, guys. Not Marinelli's side. That's, of course, the defensive side. But I think the offensive side, the coaches, the offensive line coaches, the running back coaches, they need to talk about it and say, hey, guys, we need to fix this issue right here. How do we make this move in between the game? It just seemed like Garrett and their stubbornness of the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff was like, we have to do it this way, and if Collins can't handle it, then we'll address it later. But that's the way we have to play, and we're going to stick to our guns the whole way through. And they did, and the result was 42-17, guys. Disappointing, very disappointing. And again, I've seen this from before from the Cowboys coaching staff, the lack of the ability to change it up at the halftime. They had 2 chances. They had the lightning break in that halftime, and they did hardly any changes to their blocking schemes. And again, guys, every single Cowboy got beat in a block, whether it was Witten, whether it was Jason Hanna, whether it was the whole offensive line, whether it was La'el Collins constantly by Von Miller. But by the Denver Broncos, it seemed like every time we ran the ball, someone blew something. And it wasn't necessarily only because of the Cowboys. It was also because the Broncos have a fantastic defense and linebacking core, and especially the coverage guys. That's a whole different level of defense as far as I'm concerned. But by them concentrating and stopping, saying we're going to make Dak beat us, they did the right thing, guys. And by Dak having to beat them, the best 3 cover corners in the league as a core together, Dak couldn't do it this game. And we'll see what happens when the altitude is equal and if we were to meet again, whether it's in Dallas or Minnesota. We'll see in the Super Bowl. Or next year. We never know when we'll see him again. But so, I don't know if there's any last questions or comments.
Let me see here.
Peace out.
Not any big ones. Shallow Hal, thanks for joining us here. I think we'll go ahead and finish up with LM. How much impact do you guys think Irving will make? So, guys, of course, we already said DeMontre Moore is eligible to come back this Wednesday. We'll definitely keep you now. Yeah,
so they haven't made a decision yet, and they'll wait till Wednesday probably, or at least till tomorrow Wednesday, because They're trying to figure out who to take off the lineup, guys.
Yeah.
It's tough. We were trying to figure it out earlier. We don't know. Comment after this video below, guys, and let us know who you think is going to be the guy that's going to be cut to replace Montre Moore. And then in 2 weeks, who's going to be cut to replace David Irving? Again, I think Irving's going to be big inside, guys. He can play inside and outside. He's going to also add to our running stop, and he's going to add to our rushing the quarterback. Along with Montre Moore, who's mainly not really a run stopper, but a quarterback rusher, guys. So with those two guys coming back, Moore and then Irving, and the emergence of DeMarcus Lawrence this season, playing for that money, for that contract, we're going to have 3 decent rushers, in that game, along with the other guys who can break it in there once in a while too. Tapper or Mayo or someone of those guys have to, or Taco even has to come through as well. And of course, guys, we had Hitchens back shortly after that, after Irving, if not at the same time as Irving.
Yeah, but one at a time.
But that's when we get our entire core back, and that's when you'll see our defense will get better. But guys, the offensive line was a problem against the Broncos, and that should only be the only time we see it this entire season. And my prediction, guys.
Yeah, so hopefully that prediction does hold true, guys. I don't think I want to see a beating like that for ever, never again. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We will bring you guys, of course, the latest Cowboys updates tomorrow.
Breaking news on
if there's any kind of breaking news on the Ezekiel Elliott appeals case, we'll definitely give you guys that breaking news update. So make sure you hit the little bell next to the subscribe button after you click subscribe so you guys get any updates on when we go live or post any videos, guys. We promise won't bug you, but thank you so much for joining us and our Cowboys family here tonight, guys. Oh, wait, one last thing. Can't forget it.
Go Cowboys! Hey, guys, now and forever, even when we win, lose, or whatever, guys, you Cowboy fan for life. Remember that.
That's right, guys. Go Cowboys. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Go Cowboys.